6 minutes. 2
On
hours
March
ago.
11th,
Measles is one of
Maybe.
the most contagious diseases we know.
Guys, sometimes they're good videos.
Just one
We'll give it a
person
try.
is likely to infect between 12 and 18 people. That number is called a disease's basic reproduction number, or R0. Scientists use it to describe how contagious a disease is. Zika, it has an R0 of up to 6.6, super contagious. But the seasonal flu, just a little over 1. And COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus, just about 2. That difference between the flu and COVID-19 doesn't seem so big, especially when you look at them next to these really contagious diseases. Plus, a lot of the symptoms of the flu and COVID-19 are really similar. A fever, cough, they can even both lead to pneumonia, which is ultimately how they can both be fatal.
What is pneumonia?
So thinking
exactly.
of COVID-19 and the flu is similar is a common and frankly understandable comparison to want to make.
This is like the flu.
It's a lot like the flu.
I like to believe that it's going to end up more like the flu virus.
But wait, let's
Fluid
go back
in
to those
lungs.
R0 numbers again. If the flu has an R0 of 1.3, that means each person gets either 1 or 2 people sick. After 10 rounds, that's 56 total people. And if we run the model with COVID-19's R0 at 2, if one person with it gets 2 people sick who get 2 people sick, after 10 rounds, that's more than 2,000 people.
Jesus.
This does not happen with the flu, because COVID-19 is very different, and understanding how is crucial to understanding how dangerous it really is, and why we have to take it so seriously.
Okay.
When we start to look for that comparison to the flu, we almost calm ourselves
People still
down.
going outside? I don't think
but
so.
unfortunately, that's not quite the right reaction here.
Chat.
Every year,
Don't you get a fine if you go outside sometimes in some places, dude? Do you not get arrested,
Seasonal
dude?
flu kills as many as 60,000 Americans. As of late March, COVID-19 has killed about 34,000 across the whole world. But scientists expect that number to go up, way up.
Tens of thousands of people a year die of the flu. But we haven't had this for a year yet. We've only had this for a few months. The trouble is coming, and we can predict it, and we can see what's coming, at least to a certain extent.
The first really big difference between COVID-19 and the flu is how long it takes you to feel sick. From the moment you're infected with COVID-19, it usually takes 5 days
Chat.
before you start to feel symptoms.
Chat, I have a question. Once it disappears, or what, is it gone forever? I don't understand. I don't get it. Once nobody has it, why doesn't it just disappear?
But it can take as long as 12 or even 14 days. This is the incubation period, the time between when you catch it and when you first realize you're sick. And scientists think you could be contagious during most of this
Animals have
period.
it.
The flu, by comparison, has an average incubation period of just 2 days. You get sick, and pretty soon you feel sick, and you know you're contagious. This is what we're used to. But COVID-19 flips that around. You can be contagious and spreading it around for several days and up to 2 weeks before it even occurs to you
That's
that
so
you're
dumb,
sick.
dude.
And that leads to the next big difference.
No human immune system had seen this virus.
Those cameras always.
Nobody
fucking kill me,
has a
dude.
natural immunity to it.
In flu season, there's always a number of people in the population who are already immune to the flu. That can be because they got their flu shot, or maybe they've already had that flu strain. And that limits the spread of the virus. When one person is contagious with the flu, they can only spread it to people who aren't immune, who can only spread it to other people who aren't immune.
That's OP.
That's why scientists and doctors urge us to get our flu shot every year. If enough people have immunity, they can kind of shield the virus from reaching others. The more immunized people, the more they can protect those that are susceptible to the virus. But COVID-19 is brand new. None of us have had it before, and there's no vaccine, which means nearly
COVID meta?
everyone on the planet is
It's a
susceptible.
big meta, dude.
So when a contagious person, who may not even know they're infected, comes into contact with others, it can spread like wildfire. And then you see how much more dangerous COVID-19 can be. Only 2% of people with the flu need to be hospitalized, but 20 to even 30% of people who test positive for COVID-19 do. And we're still learning about COVID-19.
Wait, even young
fatality
ones?
rate, but scientists think it's somewhere between 1 and 3%. But the flu's rate is even lower, 0.1%. And that's a disease that can kill 60,000 people a year in the US alone. That's what Dr. Anthony Fauci, the U.S.'s leading infectious disease expert, tried to clear up to Congress.
People always say, well, the flu, the flu does this, the flu does that. The flu has a mortality of 0.1%.
Wrong.
This has a mortality of 10 times that. This is a really serious problem that we have to take seriously.
And he's just talking about the
he a
average
smoker?
across all age groups. For older people or people with compromised immune systems, it can be way higher. And that's especially scary when you remember all the other things that are different about COVID.
Yo, this is so weird. My check keeps resetting.
How hard it is to know you have it, how susceptible we all are to it. Estimates vary, but some scientists have warned that between 20 and 60% of the world's population could become infected with the virus. Because COVID-19 has no cure and no vaccine, the only defense we have against it is social. We can take ourselves out of the chain, not
Chat.
with immunity, but with social distancing.
I know why.
Just physically not being around anyone and staying home as much as possible. But that only works if each of us takes it seriously, which is why comparing it to the flu, while understandable, is not helpful.
It's natural to want to find a comparison, to want to make this seem small. When we use the flu as the
Just at home.
backdrop, it almost numbs us, or it can numb us and make us maybe even feel better
So
about the
gamers
current
are setting the world,
situation.
dude.
Because the current situation is
Hey
bad.
Felix,
So now is not the
3
time to
months
be
up
numb.
today.
We
need
knew in
to
advance,
be
dude.
vigilant
Friendly
and
stream
use
today.
our
Smile.
vigilance for
XQC.
useful actions.
Man, chat. This is something. This is something that is actually Nobody knows this. Okay, we don't know why, but Vox has this problem, dude, where anybody they ever interview on their show has a 1.6
Felix,
frames
please
per
tell me
second
that is
camera,
at least a different
right?
shirt from the past
And a
5
microphone that they
days.
got from a fucking
Please,
cereal box.
How can you still
Dead
be
seriously,
wearing the
cereal
shirt?
box. I'm like,
Also, your hair is greasy like a Waffle House.
That's